Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 in this Best of 5 series for our inaugural coverage. We've got the semifinals here. Scythe versus RRQ is live and upon us. Thank you for joining us for this series. I am Zyori, solo casting away while we still have 3 of our members of BTS in Kiev. They'll be returning tomorrow afternoon after their Star Ladder coverage, but until then, we're picking up the slack here on the home front, and Gods and I doing more solo casting than we're used to, but it's A-okay, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining me. We're on a different setup today. I'm casting from the bedroom. Woo! Zyori HQ. It's awesome. It's good stuff. So we saw Scythe in game number 1 with a pretty dominating win over RRQ. They looked pretty solid, and it was that miracle invoker that made things extra ridiculous. Mikasa, the drafter, that is Miracle. I know some of y'all were confused. I have this tendency to read hero or read player names when I'm just casting. It's easier to read than think about, okay, Infinity Sign, oh right, that's X Freedom. So sometimes it just slips out. It is Miracle. Someone tweeted at me and said, you keep calling him Invoker. I'm pretty sure that's Miracle. That was Miracle playing Invoker, so you know what are you gonna do about it, right? Well, RRQ make the right choice this time, and they ban out the Invoker as well as the Naga Siren, and Scythe, they'll ban out the off-laners, Bat Rider as well as Centaur. That opens up for a first pick. Who had first pick here? RRQ sure did. So they grabbed the Lycan. Scythe went ahead and grabbed themselves Enchantress and Dazzle, and then it was an AA second pick for RRQ. Now, this is a bit interesting because we saw RRQ get the mighty Lycan last game, and they didn't really do a lot with it. It was not really that amazing. They just couldn't really translate anything that the Lycan did to kills. He ended that game without too much to his name. He went for a Vlad's BKB, didn't even get the medallion, didn't even try Roche. Scythe had every single Roche completely uncontested. So I'm a little surprised to see RRQ going for it once again. Obviously, Lycan is a very powerful hero right now, regardless of what meta you're in. He's pretty regarded as the most broken hero, kind of first ban material. But Scythe, they just don't seem to be too concerned about it because he wasn't so scary last game, and it is possible to shut him down for sure, as we saw in the last game.
10 seconds remaining.
You guys are so adorable in Twitch chat. I love it. One of my favorite things about solo casting, I hate it when I have to use the delay when I'm solo casting. I love the instant gratification of being able to have a little dialogue with y'all, but with that 2-minute delay, it makes things just a bit more difficult. So RRQ with almost the exact same draft as last game. They will third pick a Puck here, and that was their mid hero last time. It was a Don Juan Puck in the mid lane, and he got pretty trucked by that Invoker. He was actually first blooded, which was unfortunate. I think is the right word for it here. And actually,
5 seconds remaining.
Give me just a moment here. So, interesting to see them trying the Puck again. I mean, it's just weird to see RRQ doing the same thing they did last game, given it didn't work out well for them. They will grab the Ancient Apparition this time. It was Scythe who had AA in the last matchup. And it was actually RRQ that had the Dazzle in the last matchup, so they're kind of flip-flopping their supports there. But Scythe grabbed the Enchantress once again. She worked pretty darn well for them last time. I believe, was it Chibi that played the Enchantress? It was either Chibi or X Freedom, and I'm forgetting now. Maybe it was Hana. Whatever. They still played a pretty mean Enchantress. She had a pretty big impact at the end. Man, was she hitting hard. We saw her with those Ag-Sceptered impetuses just chunking down that Enigma. Just dook, 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 dead Enigma. 3 shots. You can't run away from an Enchantress. That's one thing we learned in the last game for darn sure. Sand King, the 4th pick for RRQ, so they've got their second support. Another pretty well-rounded draft. They've got a stun from the Sand King. He'll be able to make good use of the jungle. They'll have the Lycan, who they offlaned last game for their position 1. They'll have Puck in the mid, and now they'll just need... Well, they'll need a true offlaner, but they may opt to put Lycan in the offlane with the support like they did last game. It sort of depends how they want to set up these lanes, but they'll need some sort of a solo hero coming up for their last pick. Scythe with the right idea. They ban out the Clockwork. I think he would have been a great addition to this RRQ roster. On long-range initiation, then Puck can be there for the follow-up, and yeah, pretty dirty setup there, so a smart choice. Nyx Assassin, the 4th pick for Scythe, after the Nature's Prophet, so it appears that it will be an off-lane Nature's Prophet, but still a lot of ways that Scythe could opt to lane this. They could put NP in the mid, off-lane the Nyx, and then grab Oh, well, they already have their second support. I'm not sure how they're going to lane this. Enchantress and Dazzle will probably be the support, so it's either going to be a Nyx or a Nature's Prophet in the mid lane, and they're going to be the mid lane or off laner, and it's hard to tell which will be which. Could always be a solo Dazzle as well, and they could put Nyx in more of a support role. Really a lot of options for Scythe the way this draft has come out. Regardless, they will need a carry with this final pick, and RRQ, they make the smart read, and they ban out the Moon Rider Luna. Nova. Smart choice, though. I don't know that Scythe would have picked Luna here, but they would have picked a carry of sorts. Life Stealer could be an option. They've got the Nyx Assassin delivery vehicle for those Infest bombs, so they could go that route if they're so interested. I'm not sure off the top of my head what carries Scythe really like to prioritize. What else could be good here aside from the Luna?
Reserve time.
Why is nothing coming to mind for a potential last pick here? A pretty well-rounded draft for Scythe, though. They don't really have a lot of lockdown, which I worry about, but they have pretty strong laners. They've got pretty good gankers as well between the Nyx and the Enchantress. They need somebody with some utility here. Who's a carry with utility? This is one of those times when I wish I could just like pop up a chart of the heroes so I could look at them. I know there's an obvious pick, but it's just not coming to me. It's just not coming to me. It's not coming to them either. They'll break into their bonus time. They've got about a minute left before they decide. You know, one thing I always forget when I'm casting like this is that like I keep my mic muted on XSplit before the game starts, you know, like when the draft is loading in and stuff. But the Dota TV sounds, they start recording the second the game starts loading in. And I have this tendency when I'm listening to music that I know the words, I tend to sing along, but I only do it when I'm muted because I don't want to scar all of you. So if you have the ticket, which I recommend you pick up, it is only $1 here for the inaugural coverage. You get to hear Zyori singing in the client. Every match starts out with da 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 da, like me just singing along to the beat of whatever song I'm listening to, just snapping my fingers, just like da, oh yeah, yeah, all right, like just singing along, like take. It's awful, it's awful. And every time I see the little like mic pop up in the corner, and I just go, oh gosh darn it, I did it again. I forgot that people on Dota TV can hear me. Oh boy. So just a little added incentive for those of you that don't have the in-game ticket. There is a little bit of value here. Okay, Scythe will 5th pick Weaver. So that's what they settle on. And an interesting choice. Actually, a good choice here. There is not a lot of lockdown on Scythe, but even less lockdown on the side of RRQ. Puck is a hero that is generally regarded as good against Weaver just because he has a long-duration silence and he's got the disable with Dream Coil to try and lock him down and whatnot. And silences tend to work pretty well against Weaver, but that's about it. They've got Burrow Strike from Sand King, but that's still a pretty short-range stun compared to some of the other big disables that you can pick up in the game. So it should be a pretty good match for Weaver. You know, there's no Lion or something like that that will just hard crowd control him down. So not a bad choice for Weaver. It doesn't really help the crowd control issues from Scythe. They'll have whatever creeps the Enchantress can pick up, some War Stomps, some Thunder Claps, all that kind of good stuff. But a lot of pushing power for Scythe as well, between the Nature's Prophet and the Enchantress, and a decent amount of push for RRQ. Anytime you've got a Lycan, that's a team with a fair bit of push. I have to say, I kind of like this draft from RRQ a little bit better at face value. We'll see what they do with this final pick. Again, I think they just need a regular offlaner. Last time they tried to be cheeky and offlane the Lycan, and it sort of worked out for them, actually. Against the Lone Druid, Lycan had a slow start, and then he kind of kicked it into high gear and found some recovery farm. And it ended up working okay, but still wasn't that great. Priestess of the Moon. Now I see you guys talking in chat. Look at you guys. That's why you're here. Viper. Yeah, Potom wouldn't be a bad choice for RRQ. That would actually be a really scary choice for putting Potom in the offlane. Gives you another stun, the utility of the Moonlight Shadow. How are these teams not prioritizing the Priestess of the Moon? Morphling could be an option for RRQ as well. Actually, no, not Morphling. What am I talking about? Whoa, they go Tiny. Okay, that's just as weird. Who is their offlane? Puck. Oh, wow. Okay. This is going to be interesting, folks. RRQ. Say what you will about them. Maybe they didn't perform too well in that last game, but boy, do they do things interesting. This will be a solo mid Tiny coming out from RRQ. Don Juan is their solo mid player. Probably a safe lane Puck. And Koala, he was the one on the triple bracer Nature's Prophet last game. So I think it will be an off lane Lycan which is really strange. Not something we're accustomed to seeing, but will probably be paired with the Ancient Apparition.
10 seconds remaining.
So we'll see how it goes for him. I don't want to read too far into it till we get into the game, because RRQ might swap around the heroes. They may be one of these teams that don't have really strict lane setups in terms of, you know, Don Juan. Sometimes he'll play offlane, sometimes he'll play mid. But I don't want to talk about tiny mid for 5 minutes here if it ends up not being a tiny mid, because it's weird. It's an odd. We've seen it a little bit more recently, and it's okay. So we will have a pause here. Not sure what the... Looks like Scythe are having some sort of an issue, though. 2 players did not load in. So we'll be stuck in a pause to get things started here. I'm curious about how exactly Scythe are going to lane this as well. They have a really versatile lineup. Probably an offlane next. Paulison does tend to be their offlane player. And... I don't want to hyperanalyze until we get into the lanes, because things can take a big turn here. A big turn for the crazy. Turn for the crazy! But we're going to have to be patient here. I would really like to reset my Dota so I can open the console, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all. Maybe after this game. Dota! Dota! Dota, Dota, Dota. Are you guys ready for some triple bracer build? Who's ready for it? Triple bracer Lycan coming next. Triple bracer Lycan. I still don't understand the triple bracer Nature's Prophet. Like I said, like 1, alright, 2 maybe. 3? Like, when is 3 bracers ever really a good idea, you know? It's kind of like when you're getting cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Like, 1, okay, you were hungry. 2, alright, you were really hungry. 3, you're going to be shitting your pants a little bit. You know, is there really a lot of value in that third? Isn't there like an opportunity cost there? The diminishing returns of like every additional bracer is less valuable than the first. And once you get to that third bracer, it's just... It's not a value bracer. It's the very inverse of a value bracer. It's the anti-value bracer. Oh boy. Oh boy. We'll leave him alone though. The poor guy. He's probably had enough of it. I'm sure his team was like, dude, 3 bracers? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Whew. So welcome back, guys. This is game number 2 of this best of 5 series between Scythe and RRQ. As you can see here, Scythe up 1-0 in this series. I'm Zyori, solo casting, and thank you for joining us here on BTS1. Let's introduce our rosters here and see where everyone is laning. On the Radiant side, we will have Team Scythe, and in the off lane, it will be Nyx Assassin, played by Paulison. In the solo mid role, it will be Mikasa, aka Miracle, playing on the Weaver. Nice, interesting change of pace there. We'll have Hana on the Nature's Prophet. Looks like he'll be starting off in the jungle, sharing the jungle with X-Freedom, who's playing on the Enchantress. And in the safe lane, it will be Dazzle, played by Chibi. So this is an interesting lane setup. I don't know who's maybe, all right, Nature's Prophet will be in the safe lane. Dazzle, we'll see where Chibi ends up. This is an odd laning phase from Scythe. I would not have thought Miracle would be the one to take solo mid on Weaver based on all the other heroes they have. On the Dire side, we've got Team RRQ. It will be NFR playing a little bit of the offlane puck. In the mid lane, it will be Tiny Tony, played by Don Juan himself. And up here in the top lane, it will be a safe lane try. That's Boo Boo on the Ancient Apparition, Gehenna on the Sand King, and it will be Koala playing on the Position 1 Lycanthrope. So this is strange across the board. RRQ had that kind of fake out, weird pick with the Tiny last pick, and Tiny solo mid is just a little bit strange. We've seen it a little bit, and it can work pretty well. Tiny can be very bursty, and speaking of bursty, Chibi, he's in some trouble. He will skill up the Grave at level 1. Good thing he held on to that skill point because he needed it. It's enough to keep him alive, and that negates the first blood, but RRQ showing us how aggressive they can be in this safe lane try. And already giving Chibi a run for his money. He will be stationed about this top lane here. So Tiny in the mid, it's good because you got that burst damage. Your avalanche toss combo, you know, the solo mid roll, you get a little bit of extra XP and you still get a bit of farm. He'll play this a bit differently, maybe an early blink dagger if he can afford it. That kind of bottle crow level of play, and we'll see how it works out for him. The problem with this build is, well, Tiny, he can snowball, or not this build, this positioning is in mid, he can snowball. He can do a lot of damage, and, you know, we saw that crazy Fnatic Na'Vi game last week before Star Ladder, where they did a match like this, and, well, the Tiny just got out of control, and he hit critical mass, and they just had no way to stop him. Supports were just food. The only problem with it, though, if Tiny doesn't farm well in the mid lane, it doesn't go so well. He needs that farm, he needs the experience, and it can pretty quickly backfire. The burst damage from these two abilities can fall off if he doesn't really snowball. So it is a little bit risky. It's an older style of play. We'll see how it works out. It seems his early farm is doing okay. He is 8-0 against the 9-1 Miracle Weaver, so they're about on point with one another. And Weaver in the mid lane means he'll be rather farmed as well. Tiny, he's in some trouble. The hoof stomp actually off the mark. Oh no, the war stomp rather, and that should have been a first blood for Scythe right there. That was just a misplay from X Freedom, and he should have been able to secure that kill. He didn't even shockwave either, and that would have been close. Definitely would have been close. So Tony the Tiny, he's got himself a bottle. He'll be bottle crowing to his heart's content. Mikasa, he's got a bottle as well, so both heroes will be bottle crowing here in the mid lane. Lycan farming reasonably well at the safe lane. He is 10-2. Nyx Assassin actually getting a lot of last hits as well. He is 8-0. So Dazzle's presence up here definitely seems to be worthwhile. And this is one of these scenarios where it's a 2v3. And Scythe have a much more efficient laning setup with Enchantress in the jungle. We should expect to see them ahead, yeah, about 400 gold, 500 experience, and that's completely expected. When you have a jungler, it's just a little bit more efficient, and you open up just a bit more experience and gold in the jungle. Oh, gets the shockwave off before the Satyr falls. Enchantress trying to finish off Puck, and Nature's Prophet thinking about TPing down, but Puck just a little bit too elusive, gets off that healing salve, and will survive just fine. Hana doing a great job here in the safe lane, way out farming the Puck. 19-5 versus the 10-0 Fairy Dragon, so that's a victory for Scythe. And up here in the top lane, as a break even, will Lycan actually take a spill here? One more auto attack ought to do it. What a disaster for RRQ. It's a 2v3 up in the top lane, and the two find a kill, not only on one of the supports, but the position 1 of RRQ, and that is just a bloody disaster. That is really worst case scenario. I was going to say, if this top lane is a break even, that's a huge victory for Scythe. A 2v3, they're finding more efficient farm, and Nyx Assassin is kind of keeping up with the Lycan. A 5 last hit disparity is pretty darn good. They now get the first blood kill. Who got the kill? It was actually the Nyx Assassin as well, so that's just an ideal case scenario for Scythe, and now we'll see things just jump into their favor. 1,500 golden experience going their way. This is scary. I fear for RRQ. Haste Rune picked up by the Weaver. Gehenna, he will fall. Even if Miracle doesn't need to burn the... Oh, he might need to burn the haste here, and I think Gehenna is still going to go down anyhow. They don't have detection, but they can just spam Shikuchi, and nope, he's not going to go for it. He just wants to go back to farming. I think a Shikuchi and then a Shadow Wave would have been enough to secure that kill, and they probably could have got him before these supports rotated in, but they'll let him survive, and the lack of detection will be the saving grace for Gehenna. They throw him a bone there. So Miracle just goes back to farming here in the mid lane. He is now the last hit leader, 28-5 compared to the 12-0 Tiny. So this is kind of what I was talking about, where Tiny in the mid lane, it can completely backfire. Tiny isn't the best laner, which is why you see him in that position 1 role with a support, trying to zone them out so he can get free farm. If Tiny wins the lane, you know, if he picks up a solo kill and he's farming like mad, solo mid Tiny is great. He's cruising around. He's your hero. He's your savior. He's got the Superman cape on, right-clicking people, punching them down. But here, they're like, Tiny, what happened? And Don Juan, now they're going to pull a lane rotation. He's only level 5. He goes up to the top lane. But Nyx Assassin is just about to hit level 5 as well, so he won't find free farm up in the top. Mikasa, he's level 6. He's been free farming like crazy. Now Lycan's going to come to the mid lane. He's only level 4. And this isn't even much better. Now they're going to have to sacrifice farm on 2 heroes. Lycan's farm is a little bit better than that of Tony, but look, he's completely zoned out. Already the Weaver has a Ring of Aquila, and Lycan just can't lane against him. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Hana still just dominating faces. 33 and 11 compared to the 20 and 0 Puck. That's a lot of denies coming out for the Nature's Prophet. He's now level 6, has phase boots up, Puck just on brown boots, and a casual circlet with a whole bunch of those GG branches. This is just a disaster for RRQ across the board. The only one farming okay is Gehenna. He's in the jungle, and that's the only reason why. He's sandstorming it up. Level 3 does have the level 2 sandstorm, so he's trying to get his. He's farming. He's got 7 creep kills, but still not really that farmed. Ancient Apparition, I would not want to be him right now, but uh-oh, Don Juan. He'll get initiated upon, but don't have the damage for the kill. Chibi level 4, actually not going the aggressive Poison Touch build, and I'm a little surprised to see it, but uh-oh, Miracle rotates to the top. Don Juan taking heavy damage, and that's an easy kill for Scythe. Nyx will finish him off with an Impale. Miracle continuing to pursue forward. He's got the Haste Rune on. Wrath of Nature softens him up, and Weaver finishes off the Ancient Apparition. Gehenna, he's hiding in the trees, nowhere to go. You better stay in that box, my man, and well, he's going to leave the box, but he'll play with fire here. They can easily shut him down. Miracle just rotates back towards the mid lane, looking around for the Sand King, but won't find him. Instead, he finds himself a shiny Lycanthrope. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the mana pool to try and take him down. He does have a regeneration rune, though. So Mikasa, Miracle, he could have been a little more aggressive there. Lycan without an ultimate is a pretty easy kill, especially for a Weaver. You can just chase him down. What's he going to do? Throw wolves at you? Whoa, whoa, that's scary. Not. 3,000 gold, 3,000 experience going the way of Scythe. 3-0 in hero kills to get things out of the gate. They have won every single lane handily. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And, uh-oh, Tiny. He picks up a kill on the Nature's Prophet, but they'll find a return kill on the Puck down bottom. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we see Dark Troll Summoner, and they'll finish off this tower.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think they'll have enough to finish off this tower. They sure will. Gehenna, he's sandstorming it up, but won't be enough to stop that tower from falling. Now, Boo Boo, Don Juan, they'll rotate in, but they just can't really do much against Miracle. Weaver was a good pick here. He's just cruising around, and so far they've shown very little to try and deal with him. Is there any detection out yet on either side? Yeah, okay, there are a couple of sentries down, but yeah, not a hell of a lot. Enchantress roaming about. And yeah, that's a dead Enchantress. She'll just get finished off. Nice rotation from RRQ, and well, they'll be rewarded here. They throw down a sentry, and they do get a counter ward, so a small victory there. They get some kills up on the board. But at the end of the day, it's just a kill on the Enchantress. Don Juan, oh no, he uses his mana to farm the creeps. Now he's got nothing to shut down Miracle. And I think this will just be a free kill for Mr. Weaver. It certainly will be. He'll time-lapse back. Another Haste Rune, full health, full mana. Oh boy, this Weaver is just running amok. 2-0-1, 55-10. He is our net worth leader by a huge, huge margin. Lycan is in the top lane, and he is just farming away. Level 7, has Vladimir's offering up. He is the leading farmer for RRQ, but they're still just so far behind. Dazzle, level 5, working on that Shadow Wave build, and Hana, it looks like he'll just go for a Handamitis. This is that standard Nature's Prophet build, boys. Not that Bracer Deluxe. This is, it's like a Bracer Happy Meal. This is Phase Boots, Gloves of Haste. Into Handamitis, and then probably a Necro Book or an Orchid, or maybe even a Desolator crit. Depends on how scary he wants to be, but I think Necro Book will probably be his item of choice. Just knock down these towers. No need to drag this game on any longer than necessary. RRQ with 2 smoked up. It is the Sand King as well as the Ancient Apparition, and they will set up a kill onto Hana. Looks like he'll be punished, and they'll secure that kill. Now Chibi, not out of the clear yet, throws down a Weave. Enchantress nearby, doesn't even get the Grave off. Oh, bit of a misplay there from Chibi, and now Nature's Attendants come out for the Enchantress there. That's who she is. But maybe she'll be able to survive. Meanwhile, at the top lane, they do secure a kill on the Lycan. They're looking for the Enchantress. The AA ult was off the mark, and the Nature's Attendants will prove effective. She is level 6, but completely out of mana. Don Juan coming in. He's got the combo. They'll find 3 kills here in the bottom lane, But creeps, will they have enough to secure a kill? Path blocking from the Centaur. Wrath of Nature, Blink Dagger on the Nyx. He'll be off the mark, but Enchantress gets the kill with the Dark Troll Summoner right before he falls to the Wrath of Time. So Scythe with some pretty solid teamwork. They will find a recovery kill. Great use of that Wrath of Nature. And it is a 2 for 3 across the map. They did get that kill onto the Lycan up in the top lane. It was Miracle who secured that one. So not all bad for Scythe, even though they do get the short end of the stick in terms of that exchange. They still have a huge lead, 4,000 gold, 3,000 experience. A 1-0 tower lead, but still just got such better, so much better farm in the laning stage. Puck going phase boots? What? What is this? Phase boots on the Puck? Guys, this is... Whoa. Chibi, he'll get initiated upon again. Won't be able to get the Grave off. They've got the crowd controls to just burst him down. Pretty big rotation from RRQ. And Hana, he's on the run. In comes Paulison, though. A 2-man impale. Now, Miracle joining the battle. Puck will be the first to fall. Boo Boo stuck inside the Sprout. He'll go down second. Now Tiny joining the battle, but RRQ, they're running out of resources. They find a double kill on the Enchantress and Weaver. That's the burst potential of Tiny. I thought RRQ may be overcommitting, but they find some return kills. It ends as a 2 for 2. Lycan pressuring the top tier 1 tower. Chibi comes in. We'll try and harass him back. Poison Touch flies, but it's only level 1. See, if that was a level 4 Poison Touch, this could almost be a kill on the Lycan. It'd be pretty darn close, actually, to a kill on this Lycan. But instead, Lycan backs out, and yeah, it just gets tickled by the tower. So RRQ showing us what solo mid Tiny's all about. All of a sudden, Don Juan was getting shut down so hard, but he's found a couple of kills. He's now 4-2-0. Number 5 on the net worth chart, but number 2 for RRQ. And he has made quite the recovery. I think Scythe will be well advised to get a pipe out here, get a little bit of that magic armor going on. This is when Tiny really shines, though. This is where he peaks. Sitting at level 9, he is decently leveled. Miracle is level 11, though, so still obvious where the advantage is here. And with that, RRQ will do a wraparound in the top lane. 2-man smoke on the SK as well as the Tony. And Chibi, he needs to grave like right now. But nope, he'll press forward. They put a ward down. They see the Nyx assassin inbound. And maybe they'll just go for the Nyx instead. Looking for the opening. They won't find it there, but maybe they'll find it on the Weaver. Miracle, wrong place at the wrong time. He walks right into it. Can he time-lapse? No, he can't. And they find a free kill on the Weaver. Nicely done by RRQ, but now Paulison coming in. 2-man impale. He'll connect with it. Vendetta on the mark. Nature's Prophet comes in. And Spike Carapace online. Ice Blast on the mark. And Hana, he'll fall. A disaster for Scythe. They make a 1 for 0, a 2 for 0 the other way. Gehenna uses the epicenter just for good measure there. And just keep feeding the Tiny. I thought Scythe were going to run away with this game. They had such a huge lead in the laning stage, and now all of a sudden, they are handing it over on a silver platter to RRQ. Just a moment ago, Miracle was 2 levels up on the Don Juan solo mid Tiny, and now they're both level 11. Don Juan's got a Blink Dagger to go with those arcane boots. At the 13-minute mark, no less. He's completely recovered. Even this Lycan now, he's had enough room to farm that he's starting to get a little bit more scary. He has a Vlad's. Has himself the Gloves of Haste with 1,400 gold. Hopefully he goes a medallion here. With RRQ on the dire side, Lycan could probably just go for Roche nowish. If he gets a medallion, easy peasy Roche. All you have to do is smoke in, and Scythe don't have the scouting tools to really deal with it. They have been continuing to send in Treants, so they have been kind of scouting it out, but a worthy risk for the Lycan just to try it out. It might even be a good trap with your Sand King. Does he have a Blink Dagger yet? No, he does not. He's got himself Arcane Boots, though. Just put your Sand King on the high ground. If they can test, just Epicenter in. Keep your Tiny nearby. He can Blink, drop the combo. Speaking of Tiny, he'll get initiated upon down here in the bottom lane. Paulison connects with the Spike Carapace. That's a kill on Tiny. And now Paulison could be in some trouble. Nope, they finish off Puck instead. Nicely done by Scythe. That'll be a 2 for 0 in the bottom lane. And this time they have the numbers advantage. It's a 5v2. And they will translate this into a tier 1 tower kill. That makes it 2 to 0 in total tower count. And they'll press forward. Maybe they can grab a tier 2 tower kill out of this as well. Harpy Stormcrafter picked up by the Enchantress. Not a creep you see all too often, but she's got that Chain Lightning, and boy is it irritating. It does a lot of damage, has a really short cooldown, and a low mana cost. They will trade their top tier 1 tower, the Wrath of the Lycan. but they get 2 towers in exchange, so still good news for Scythe.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And they'll regain a little bit of that lost momentum. Gold still way up in their favor. Experience about 1,000 in their favor. Not a huge lead, but still something. Finally grouping up and making some plays happen. That is the best way to deal with a Tiny doing the Arcane Boot Blink strategy. But they'll toss in the Sand King, Burrow Strike on the Nature's Prophet, Avalanche to follow up. That's a nice kill for RRQ in the mid lane. Beautifully done. Tiny continuing to show his power. Easy initiations with that Sand King. Well done. But showing the power. And the best way to deal with this is just to group up and go 5-man. You gotta stay spread out enough that Tiny can't just combo down your whole team, but ultimately he's cooldown based. And whoa, Nyx Assassin, he picks up a solo kill on the puck here in the offlane. And he'll just port out to safety. But yeah, ultimately Tiny is very cooldown based, and he can only avalanche every 17 seconds, and that's how you deal with him. Let him avalanche somebody, try and keep them alive, throw out the grave, and then just turn it around and drop him. So that is the big issue here. As long as you don't let him just come in and drop that combo on 2 of your heroes like we saw at the engagement that happened down here. And right now, Scythe, they just aren't handling the Tiny as well as they could be, but they're still finding farm around the map. They still have their Weaver at the top of the net worth chart by a huge margin. Whoa, Tiny hops in. And looks like they might be able to find a kill on the Dazzle. There's the toss. Oh, he gets the Grave off right before he falls. Epicenter comes down, though. Dazzle will shatter, it looks like. They grab a kill on the Tiny and the Nyx Assassin, but it will cost them Nyx and the Dazzle. It's a 2 for 2 in the mid. And a pretty even exchange. But AA gets both kills on the side of RRQ. So actually an exchange favoring Scythe just a little bit. Tiny does not get the experience or the credit for those kills. Okay that they go the way of AA, but not ideal. They'll hop forward. They want to engage on the Miracle. The silence won't last long enough. He'll be able to time-lapse. And he just waits out the Dream Coil. Actually does proc it at the end. There is a Sentry Ward down here for the Dire, so Miracle will have to be a little careful. Courier taking a couple shots from the Puck, but it'll survive. And Puck jaunts to the Orb. Now Miracle, he wants to get aggressive. He knows the Dream Coil's down. Puck very squishy. A few more auto attacks ought to do it, but Ice Blast just barely missing the Weaver as he does Shukuchi out in time. Now Don Juan joining the party. Not enough to combo down Miracle. And yeah, that's where that combo's starting to fall off a little bit already. Meanwhile, up top, Koala could be in some trouble. Hana connects with the Sprout, but now he's on the defensive. Dazzle throwing that Shadow Wave. Where are the stuns? They don't have them, but Miracle joining the party, sipping up the bottle. They just won't be able to take down the Lycan. He's too speedy with that shapeshift. They need the stuns. They need the lockdowns. They just don't have them. Don Juan, has he picked up any items? No, he hasn't. He's got nothing. So already this Tiny is starting to fall off a little bit. He's peaked. And as long as Scythe just minimize their losses here, Don Juan will become less and less impressive as this game goes on. He'll have to start to transition into a bit more of a carry, and that means a Ag Scepter. Ag Scepter, Manta, Assault Cuirass, that kind of stuff. He will smoke up with the Puck here in the mid lane. There is an invisibility rune in the bottle of the Tony. And it appears they want to rotate down bottom and maybe knock down a tower. Sand King already farming away. About 2/3 of the way the Blink Dagger, then that will help out RRQ a little bit. Paulison needs to be careful. Does have level 2 Vendetta. Pops the Arcane Boots, but he just has no clue that the Pain Train is coming his way. Burrow Strike to start it off. Blink forward from the Puck. More than enough damage to finish him off. And Trenchus is nearby, but she can't do anything to keep her good friend alive. Chucking some impetuses at the doing Sand King. He'll be fine for now. Miracle joining the party. Ice Blast off the mark. And there's an Epicenter. This is enough to finish off the Nature's Prophet. The rest of Scythe coming in. So much AoE damage coming out. Enchantress and Dazzle fall to the Tiny. And that's that spread that I was talking about. They're just not doing it. Miracle, he's the only one left alive. He'll get silenced, initiated upon. He can't even time-lapse. It's a 5-for-0 exchange. RRQ with the momentum. Scythe, what are you doing? The throws. They had this game in the bag. And now RRQ, they've got the experience lead. They'll take this tower. And meanwhile, there's Lycan up top. He's farming the whole time. That was a 4 versus 5. They'll get 2 towers out of this. Boys, we've got a series. Holy Toledo. Paulison, he's looking for a counter kill. He is vendetted. He will connect onto the Puck. Easy kill. Plenty of burst damage. Nicely done. But at the end of the day, it's still a 5-for-1, and they lost 2 towers out of it.
Radiant's
Now
bottom
RRQ,
tower
they've
is
got
under
rune
attack.
control. They'll take the double damage. They could move into Roche here. I'm still surprised this Lycan hasn't Roached it up. But I'm shocked right now. I can't believe how poorly Scythe have handled this Tiny. He got completely zoned out in the laning phase. Miracle stomped him in the lane so hard that they had to pull a rotation when Tiny was level 4. And they just gave him so much room to recover with kills. There you go. He'll miss a combo in the mid lane. Now Nyx's coming in, a double impale. Miracle laying in some right clicks. Force staff back onto the Ancient Apparition. That'll buy him some time. Miracle maybe getting a bit too aggressive. He will be forced to time lapse back. They do have some dust. Is there a gem out? No, there isn't. And Lycan actually going hand to Midas. He's got 4,000 gold. We'll see Koala pick up a Necro book before too long here, I imagine. You don't see hand to Midas on the Lycan too frequently. But boy, does it get scary in a situation like this. He is now the #1 farmer, topping the net worth chart. And Scythe, they're in a bit of trouble. 1,000 gold deficit and about 4,000 experience. This game is far from over, but RRQ have regained so much momentum.
With me.
Dire's top tower
Nature's
is under
Prophet
attack.
now has a level 3 Necronomicon,
Dire's
so there will be some
structures
pushing
are
power for
fortified.
Scythe. Paulison Vendetta'd up and just scouting things out a little bit. Will engage on the Sand King. Doesn't have enough damage to secure the
Dire's
kill,
top tower
but he does have a Spike Carapace. Enchantress coming in. Oh, a great disjoint from the Sand King. And Ancient Apparition will actually get a kill on the Nature's Prophet. They do secure that tower. Sand King walks away. And now Don Juan, he is not out of the clear. He'll get left behind. He'll move into the trees. Does have a TP scroll. Throws the Avalanche. It's off the mark. Dazzle. There's the Poison Touch to interrupt it. And they'll get this kill. Meanwhile, Enchantress did find a kill on the Puck, who was also trying to retreat. So Scythe find the cleanup, and they make it a 1 for 2, and they also grab that tier 1 tower. But meanwhile, Lycan doing what Lycan does best. Pressures that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Doesn't finish it off, but takes it down to about half health. Now he's on the run. Does not have enough mana for the shapeshift. And Koala, he may get punished for this. Miracle can just keep chasing him down. It's a slow effort, but I think he'll be able to do it. Can he hope for the Roche deny? He can hope for it, but won't find it. Gehenna trying to TP home. One more impetus. Won't be there. And he will survive. Now I think Scythe can rotate pretty safely into the Roshan pit. And against the Lycan, if you can deny Roche, that's absolutely huge. 3 dead. Puck and Tiny up reasonably soon, but without the Lycan, it's still a 5v4 on the field. And they might have enough to burst down Roche. Do they have a medallion with an Enchantress to take it up? Could be pretty easy. No medallion this time. So it will be a slow Roche.
Dire's top tower is under
And
attack.
RRQ not quite in a position to contest yet. Ice Blast flies into the pit. That scouts it out. Roche already pretty low. Impale does connect on the Sand King. That'll buy him some time. The valuable time they need. Uh-oh, there's the blink in for Puck. Finished off by the Dire. Snatched by the Weaver. There's an Epicenter from Gehenna. That'll proc the Aegis straight away. But it's okay. They get the counter kill on Sand King. Now the Weaver's back up. Tiny in trouble. Doesn't have a blink. Doesn't have his cooldowns either. 5 seconds till he has the Avalanche. And he will fall. So Dire do get the last hit on Roche. The Aegis has already been procced. Now Koala coming in. He'll proc the Spike Carapace. Sprout comes out, but he pops the BKB. They might still be able to find a kill onto the Weaver. Puck coming in. Big damage coming onto the Nyx. Secures that kill. AA flies. Weaver does finish off the Lycan around the backside. So still a very successful fight for I was going to say the Weaver, for Scythe. Boo Boo getting pushed back into the base. Actually takes a Wrath of Nature. Miracle, he wants this kill. He'll dive the base, and I think he'll find it. Actually drops some wards right there. Almost a big misplay from Boo Boo. Playing with the Weaver, but now Scythe will go high ground. A noble effort from RRQ. Sniping the last hit on Roshan was nice, but it's not enough. They don't have a glyph, and this will be high ground. Buyback status. Lycan stuck without it, 100 gold short. Tier 3 tower, heavy damage, it will fall. Enchantress just zoning out the Puck who wants to hop in. He doesn't even have a Dream Coil though. Tier 3 tower falls. Melee racks will fall shortly after. Puck coming in, trying to clear up the creeps, but just doesn't have enough. Gehenna. Burrow Strike gets proc the Lincolns. Enchantress falls to the wrath of the Tony, but oh, they lose their gem. Enchantress was the gem carrier. Dazzle picks it up. They're pinging him out. Puck hops in with the Dream Coil, and I think they'll have enough to finish off Miracle. Yeah, the silence just too much for him. They'll right click him down. Big bounty going the way of Lycan, a nice 750.
Are under attack.
Still, damage has been done. Brax have fallen, and Scythe have regain the momentum in this game. Golden experience zeroed out, but with 1 lane of racks down, that will give them a pretty sizable edge. Weaver still is really yet to even come online. He's got a Lincoln's, but he's not even hitting hard. Just wait until Miracle gets himself a Desolator. That's when things will be more difficult for RRQ. Tiny has, however, found enough farm to pick up his Scythe of Ice, so he's uprooted one of those trees, and he's now branching around, cleaving people's faces, giving them splinters all over the place. That is good news for RRQ. Tiny does have to transition into more of a carry at this point. The Dire Courier gets picked off by Nyx Assassin. Nicely done. What is it with the couriers in this series, man? These teams are just like courier snipers to the max. We saw like 4 courier kills last game. That's 1 this game so far. So Tiny will start to hit hit harder. There is a blink up on Sand King, as we saw in that Roche fight using the Epicenter. BKB was the next item for Lycan after the Vlads. I still don't understand why RRQ don't prioritize Roche. This is the 2nd game in a row they've picked up Lycan, and the 2nd game in a row they've yet to secure a Roche kill. I guess technically they secured the Roche kill this game as they got the last hit, but with the Lycan, just get the medallion and move into the pit. I mean, even if they have a Nature's Prophet and they're scouting it out with Treants, there's still, you can do it so quickly. It just takes a good 60-second window for that Nature's Prophet to be pushing a lane somewhere else where there isn't a Treant nearby, and you can just sneak the Roche. Just smoke in. If you have decent ward coverage, it's not really that risky. You just need eyes on people around the map. It's one thing to try it, be unsuccessful, and then just give up in that game. It's something completely different to not even try it at all. To say it's not worth the risk. I'm not sure I agree with that. Weaver is now taken over #1 on the net worth chart once again. So that is good news for Scythe. Oh, Gehenna. He got hit in the face by that Nature's Prophet ulti. So he knows that they're nearby. They'll take out that sentry ward that he just put down. Nyx carrying around the gem. And I thought there was a gem up on the Dire side, but I guess not. Puck does have an ultimate orb out, which means it will most likely be a Scythe of Ice. Meanwhile, in the top lane, though, they'll just pressure this top tier 2 tower. Lycan in the mid is doing a little bit of rat dodo of his own. And it may be a tier 2 for tier 2 exchange. No, Nyx is inbound, connects with the Impale. Koala may be forced to burn the ultimate here. Nope, won't be able to do it. He gets mana burned by the Nyx, and they've got the interrupt. No, they don't. The poison touch just half a second too late. Oh, that was a big opportunity there. If only Dazzle had poured it in a little bit earlier. They were ready to converge, and that would have been a huge kill. Lycan in the well, he would have had enough for buyback, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But even if they could have killed him, pressed up the mid, and then forced him to buyback, that would have been huge. Weaver going a very defensive build. Miracle not going for that Desolator like I mentioned. He just goes Lincoln's into BKB and now looking for a Desolator. Has himself the Mithril Hammer. So they do defend the tower though, and Scythe make it a tier 2 for nil exchange. Now they'll move mid. Lincoln's gets popped on Miracle as he bro strikes forward. X Freedom just throwing those impetuses. Tier 2 in the mid will fall. Tiny off the mark. And now Paulson hops forward. A lot of damage coming out onto the Ancient Apparition. BKB shapeshift popped by the Lycan. Dream Coil comes out from the Puck. Connects with 3, but can't do much damage. Tiny the first to fall, Enchantress goes down after. There's Gehenna with the Epicenter. On the mark, but just doesn't have enough to secure the kills. Dazzle falls to the Ancient Apparition ulti, and they get the counter kill on the Sand King. It's a 2 for 2. Dire Courier respawns in the middle of the fight, and it looks like that's where the engagement will end. 2 supports from Scythe fall for 1 support and the mid of RRQ, and 3 very low health heroes. The 3 that survive make it out by the skin of their teeth. And now they're tier 3. We'll take a little bit of pressure. Level 3 Necro units tanking it up. Glyph is online for RRQ. They'll burn it here. They need to make a hold. Ice Blast coming up in 8 seconds. No Dream Coil. And Shapeshift has already come back online. So even though they'll probably be able to hold the racks here, the tier 3 tower taking heavy damage. Paulson takes a lot of harassment as well. Gets pushed back. They just want to commit to this tower kill. Mikasa will finish it off.
Dire's bottom barracks.
And they'll back out. Creeps push into the bottom lane, finish off the range racks. Not too shabby. So RRQ, they kind of hold, but still not a team fight they were looking for. A 2 for 2 hero kill exchange, but they lose a tier 2 and a tier 3 tower, as well as a ranged racks in the bottom lane. A huge exchange for Scythe, and they continue to pick up momentum. Looking good for our Radiant side. Now, Miracle on the Weaver. 2nd Mithril Hammer out. Very close to a Desolator. He'll have it for this next fight. Hana. What's he working on here? Is that a Scythe of Ice, perhaps? Very well, could be. Has that ultimate orb up. Puck, how's your farm looking, buddy? Actually, pretty darn good.
Here I am.
Ultimate Orb, 3,300 gold as he clears up that creep wave. He'll be pretty close to that Void Stone and Mystic Staff. Lycan did go ahead and pick up a Basher. Looking for some of those big RNG procs. Definitely not a bad choice, but sort of similar to last game. They just, RRQ prioritized the Lycan, but they can't find a way to have him make a big impact. He's been Rat Dota-ing just a little bit, but not enough for it to be crippling. We will see a convergence here onto Paulson, it looks like. Do they have the detection? Doesn't look like it. He will scoot back to safety. Looks like they had eyes on the Enchantress as well. X-Freedom trying to sprink away. Ooh, Paulson. Scythe playing with danger, but they'll all make it out safely. Nature's Prophet just pushing the lane that they've already taken down. He's got a BKB up as well. And he did use that 10-second charge in the last fight. Level 16 Tony. Did he actually not skill grow? That's interesting. Not too often you see that. That last point grow is good. The extra movement speed, the toss damage, everything. I don't know why you wouldn't skill it. Maybe a misclick, but he grabs stats instead. He's got 2 points in stats. Oh, Tiny. Tiny, you silly goose. Oh, my Lanta. Desolator out on the Weaver. And Tiny going straight into the Mask of Madness. Wow, Don Juan. Talk about risky builds. Now, Mask of Madness is pretty good on Tiny, but I think of that as usually like a 6th slot kind of item. He's just not tanky enough right now. If he pops that Mask of Madness, they're just going to wreck him. They'll just kill him straight up. He's not that tanky. Usually you want to have yourself like an Assault Cuirass, so you have a huge amount of armor, maybe get yourself a Manta, so you're a little bit tankier, and you've got that disjoint confusing ability to buy you some time. And then even after that, sometimes like a Butterfly is the way to go, and then you get that Mask of Madness. Mom is great for trucking down structures when you're pushing, when you're at that late game and you just want Tiny to clear out the base. But I think it's maybe a little premature to grab the Mom at this point. Now, Roche is respawned, and RRQ, they're privy to it. They'll rotate around, and they're assuming that Scythe want to go for it, but they won't be so lucky. Enchantress does have a Satyr Mindstealer in the pit, so Scythe are aware of Roche respawning as well. They may want to opt to go for it. Weaver with a couple of illusions will chip away at the top tower, but RRQ will be right there to clean it up. We do see a ping coming out from the Weaver onto the Roche pit. There is a Dire Observer down. Let's take a look at the Dire Vision, and they see it. They see him walking into the pit. They know exactly what's happening, and they will contest. 3 Blink Daggers up on RRQ. AA ult flies in. Actually only connects on the Nature's Prophet. Roche falling very quickly. They're going to go for the Aegis Snipe. Miracle preemptively uses the BKB. They want to go for it. Killed by the Radiant, picked up by the Radiant. Weaver's the one with the Aegis. Now how's the fight going to go? Puck back up to the high ground. RRQ, they just don't find the opening, and they can't contest it. They look for the Aegis Steel, but they can't find it. And Scythe, we had essentially an uncontested Roche. Now things are scary for RRQ. Gehenna hops forward, connects onto Paulson. The follow-up's there. Do they have enough for a kill? No, they don't. Nick's still alive. They find the kill on Dazzle, though. A nice impale coming out from Paulson as he survives. Weaver finishes off the Tiny. Now, going blow for blow with the Lycan. The Wolves doing a lot, but there's the epicenter. Connects onto Enchantress. Enchantress falls. Mikasa looking to survive, just trying to kite around. But he's all left all alone. Nature's Prophet is up top, trying to do some rat dodo. He gets pinged out, and Miracle survives, still with the Aegis in tow. But it is a 3-for-1 exchange here outside the Roche pit. And Hana, he won't be able to do much pushing. So still not really the fight that Scythe were looking for. Their supports just completely trucked. The epicenter doing a lot of damage there. And Puck coming in with the follow-up. That is a Scythe of Ice now up on the Puck. And Nature's Prophet, very close to his, but still a little ways off the mark. So RRQ showing us again that they have a sign of life, but the fact that they didn't proc the Aegis is scary. Double damage now up on Weaver. That's even more scary. Uh-oh. Koala. There's the Nature's Prophet coming in as well. They've got no sheep, but it doesn't matter. They've got plenty of damage. Desolator plus double damage equals dead Lycan. And buyback status. Oh, yeah, he's got it. Plenty of gold. One of few heroes with buyback right now. But with that, I think Scythe will press forward and try and force the buyback. Tiny needs to be careful. He does not have a lot of armor. Wow. Only 2 armor with that Desolator debuff. That's scary. Weaver will cut through him like butter to a warm knife. There's the Slice of Ice now out on the Nature's Prophet. And Weaver moving towards a butterfly. Has himself the Talisman of Evasion already. The rest of Scythe are starting to group up, and they will press forward. Nature's Prophet in the well. He'll be joining the party before too long. Sand King pressuring the bottom lane. Does have a Blink Dagger, as well as the Ghost Scepter. Lycan down for 25 seconds. And they're going to put it in this scenario where Lycan doesn't want to buy back after waiting this long, but may have to. Mikasa pops the BKB after his Lincolns gets broken. They've already burned their initial stuns. He'll just dive into the tier 4s. Look at how much damage he does to Don Juan. He'll get tossed. Time lapses back. Now just going for the structures. 10 seconds on the Lycan. Impale from the Nyx as he hops forward. Just trying to create space. They go for the range racks. They want the sure damage. They'll find it, and now Scythe will just back out as Lycan comes up. They don't force the buyback, but still the damage has been done. Range racks, not too crippling, but they find it. Gehenna, whoa, what a blink forward. It'll just be a feed. He gets obliterated. Not sure what the plan was there, but now without Epicenter, this is going to be a hard defense for RRQ. They hop forward. Big Dream Coil connects with 3. Ice Blast on the mark. Impale from the Nyx. They get a kill on the Nature's Prophet as well as the Dazzle. Down goes the Enchantress. Nyx trying to finish off Don Juan. They'll find it. Weaver still alive with full health and the Aegis. He's going to take out the trash. I didn't know Miracle doubled as a trash collector, but it looks like he'll be able to do it. Time lapse back. Down goes the Lycan. Boo Boo in trouble. Buybacks aplenty. Puck. He's now in the party. He won't have enough, though. The Desolator's just doing too much damage. Puck on the run. Will be able to blink back into the base. The melee racks have fallen. And even though RRQ burned the buybacks, they don't make the defense. And now they're 2 lanes of racks down, just 1 away from mega creeps. And I think Scythe will eventually be able to seal the deal here. Yeah, they killed the squishies, but Mikasa, he's just too much. He hits too hard. They have nothing to deal with this Desolator. They need a Vlad's. They need a mech. They need armor. Actually, they have a Vlad's. What am I talking about? They've got a Vlad's on the Lycan. They need a mech. They just need armor in general. They need to buy some armor items. The Desolator just hits too damn hard. Sand King with 8 armor. 8 on the AA. Tiny with 9. Puck with 13. And Lycan with 14. None of them have mass armor. And Miracle just hits like a truck. He's now got a butterfly. He'll just go straight in. Glyph is available. RRQ didn't even burn the Glyph last time. Wow. And he will time-lapse back, but still does a little bit of chip damage to the tower. Not too shabby. Well, Scythe just in great shape at this point. They are looking strong, and they are looking fierce. Dazzle working towards an Ag Scepter, has himself the Force Staff. I'm surprised to see no mech in this game. They would have come in handy. There have been plenty of kills, 31 to 30 in 38 minutes. This is an action-packed game. Mech on either side would have been useful, but no, I guess these teams just not interested. Here we go. Could be the last fight of the game. Mikasa, BKB on. Lincoln's procced already. Tiny hops forward. Just doesn't do much damage. Gehenna just gets obliterated. Tier 3 tower taking heavy damage. Glyph is available, but Weaver just completely zoning him out. He kills the Tiny. Now we'll go blow for blow with the Lycan. Sprout comes. That buys him a little bit of time. They still can't even proc the Aegis. Their whole team just gets scraped up. Miracle. Triple kill on the Weaver. This is mega creeps. And we should be moments from a GG here. Yeah, there it is. Absolutely nothing RRQ can do. Weaver just way too big. And getting some huge lag spikes here. Is that on my end? Is that our connection, or is that the server?
Radiant victory.
That would be the server. Well played by both sides. But Scythe, they come out way ahead. Oh. Not a bad game, but RRQ, they just got beat too hard in the laning stage. They had to pull too many rotations. Weaver just ran amok. Miracle, 19, 4, and 6. Involved in 25 of their 35 kills. That was one active Weaver. And boy, did he have a presence in that game. So, guys, we will have at least one more game coming up. This is a best-of-5 series. Scythe up 2-0 over RRQ. We'll see if RRQ can at least get a win up on the board, or if this will be a clean sweep 3-0. Regardless, I am Zyori, solo casting here, and we'll have the Game 3 of this Best of 5 series coming up after this short break. Thank you for joining us for the inaugural coverage on BTS. Don't go anywhere. More Dota 2 action resumes after this.
Det är det enda ni gör på dagarna. Ni sitter där ventrilo och spelar Dota.